Hi everyone and welcome back to You've Been Served. A lot has changed since my first episode making pesto. For one, you might have noticed I actually have a name now, so welcome to You've Been Served. Thank you to one of my law school friends coming up with that super cute and creative name. And as you can tell, I'm also in a new kitchen, and that is because this is being filmed in the middle of the coronavirus. So I had to move back home to Houston, and so I am at my parents' house and using their kitchen. Also, I have finally invested in a little mic, so the sound quality should be improving, which I'm super excited about. So today we are going to be making crab cakes. This is one of my all-time favorite things to cook, and it's also my family and my friends' favorite thing to eat that I make. It sounds fancy, but it's actually a super easy meal to make, and it really doesn't take a ton of ingredients or a lot of time. So let's go through the ingredients that we're going to use today for the crab cakes. First of all, obviously we are going to be using crab. I've already put it into the bowl we're going to use. And this is just crab I got from the store. Sometimes it's kind of hard to find the right crab, or you might get a lower quality crab that has a lot of shell in it. So I'm using a pound of it today though, and I'm making dinner for 5 people, so it should be more than enough. You also need to look through the crab meat before using it, because a lot of times there's a lot of shell and you don't want anyone to swallow that or chew into it whenever they're eating their crab cakes. So along with the crab, we're going to be using breadcrumbs, Parmesan cheese I have back here, some mayonnaise, we have onions, green onions, and an assortment of bell peppers. I don't know if you can tell, but this is all red, green, and yellow. You don't have to use all 3 kinds, but I bought it pre-chopped because it's just easier that way for me. And so I'm going to be using all 3 kinds. We're also going to be using eggs, and then I use Tony's seasoning. It's just a good all-purpose Cajun seasoning, so any of that would work perfectly. So I'm going to start by spooning a big spoon of mayonnaise into the crab. I don't have this perfectly measured out. I would say I'm probably going to be using 1/4 to half a cup. But I will include the specifics and the exact measurements in a recipe in the description. So next I'm going to crack an egg into the mixture, and I'm going to start with just 1 egg. I might go ahead and use the second egg, but I will see after I mix it all together if I need to. Okay, next I'm going to go ahead and add the breadcrumbs. Once again, I don't know exactly how much I'm putting in. I would say 1/4 to half a cup as well, but once I get these all measured out and I have it finished, then I will come up with the exact measurements. Now I'm gonna add Parmesan, and once again, I don't have the exact measurements. I just kind of add a lot of it, probably 1/4 cup of Parmesan. Now for all the vegetables. So I have about 1/3 cup of onions. That's white onions I'm using. You could use yellow too, if that's what you prefer. And then I have about 1/3 cup of the bell peppers as well. So I'm gonna pour that in. And then I only have probably 1/4 cup of green onions. Not a whole lot, but really, I mean, whatever vegetable you like best, just add more of that, it all works. I also really like to add cilantro, but honestly, I forgot to buy it, so we're not gonna have cilantro in it today, but that adds a lot of good flavor to crab cakes. Okay, so now I'm gonna mix it all together. I'm just using a big spoon, doesn't really matter. And I think I'm gonna go ahead and add that second egg. It seems like it could just use a little bit more liquid to mold it all together nicely. I'm also gonna add my seasoning now. You don't need a ton. I'm just, putting it in however much you like. This is kind of spicy, so you might not want to use a lot because it does add some spice. But, and if you don't want it spicy, you can just use salt and pepper and garlic salt. That would be delicious as well. So this is what the crab mixture looks like at this point. It is broken up, and it's a lot like the texture of chicken or tuna salad, and it has a lot of color to it. It looks delicious. And so you want it to be a texture sort of like this, so it will form nice into cakes whenever we put it on the stove. Alright, so it's already time to cook our crab cakes. As you notice, that is just super quick. You just whip it up like you would chicken salad, and then now we're going to cook it on the stove. So I am using a cast iron enamel covered pan. I bet this would be really good on just a regular cast iron, but this is easier to clean, so I really love this pan. And I have it on medium heat, and I've had it heating up for a few minutes so it's even, and I have it coated in just a layer of olive oil. You could also use butter. That would be super delicious, I bet, but I'm using olive oil just because it's a little bit healthier. So now we're just going to form our crab mixture into little cake-sized pieces. So you can kind of just do whatever size you want. I kind of just toss it around between my hands, make sure you have clean hands, and then I'm going to just place it on the pan. You can hear it sizzle. So this pan will fit quite a bit, and so I'm just gonna keep doing that and until my pan is full. So my crab cakes are about 2 inches in diameter and about 1 inch thick. So they're kind of thick. You can make them whatever size you want though, like I said. So we're gonna cook these until they've sort of developed a nice golden crust. So let's check on our first one. It already looks, it could have been cooked just a little bit longer, but it already has a nice golden crust on it. So I'm gonna wait just a little bit longer for the other ones so they're a little bit crispier. Okay, so now I'm gonna go ahead and flip the rest. That one is super crispy, it looks perfect. You really don't have to keep these on the stove for very long. I just had these probably 2 minutes on the first side, and I might do 1.5 minutes on the second side. Sometimes I have a flip that's not really a success, so they don't have to be perfect. They're gonna be delicious no matter what. Okay, I had one official fail. One always is just destroyed every time I make these, and it's just sort of something I have to live with, but it's okay. It's still edible, it's just kind of fallen apart for whatever reason. It didn't hold as well as the other ones. We'll just let her cook. So once they're done cooking, I'm going to place them on a plate just with a paper towel over it, so any excess oil will come off. Since we're using mayonnaise and olive oil, sometimes it gets a little oily. So these ones that are done, like I've said, I cooked for it ended up being about 2 minutes per side, and they look perfect. And so you know, this crab is already cooked. Everything is already cooked. Everything can be eaten raw except for the egg. So they really don't have to be cooked. They don't take as long to cook as you might think they might. All right, how easy was that? Now I have 7 crab cakes. I had 8, but one fell apart, and I'm going to snack on it right now. So this is really delicious and super easy, and I still have tons of mix left. I really only used about half of it, so this could make 14 to 16 crab cakes, which is enough to feed a big family. So this is perfect to be paired with basically any side, a good salad or any type of vegetable. I'm personally going to serve it with green beans tonight just because it's something simple and delicious. I also like to pair it with a remoulade or a tartar sauce, which is super easy to make. And I will put in the description a simple recipe for a really good tartar sauce I love to use whenever I make crab cakes. So there you have it. Now I have 7 delicious crab cakes ready for dinner, and I could even make 7 more with the mix I have left. I really only used half of it. So this recipe goes a long way and can feed tons of people. So that's it for today. Thank you all so much for watching, and I hope you have a chance to try this recipe. It's just so easy and delicious, and it's guaranteed that everybody will love it. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel so you know the next time I post a video, and thank you all so much again for watching. Bye!